welcome to Talk Time. Now, so much is happening in Parliament, vetting committee, approvals of ministerial nominees. Every now and then, some heated argument over one thing or the other. This week, we're going to try and understand what is happening in Parliament from the perspective of a parliamentarian. Welcome to Talk Time.
It all begins as a cloud high above Ghana, where tropical rain falls in a rainforest. The rain passes through fractures in ancient rocks and begins its journey deep beneath the earth. Interacting with these rocks, it gathers essential natural nutrients in unique proportions. The rocks produce the essential natural mineral compositions required for healthy growth. The water finally accumulates in a natural aquifer where it is protected from pollution. Retaining its original purity and natural minerals, it is then extracted by our experts, where the remaining particles are removed. The water is then sterilized to keep it fresh and safe before it is bottled and made ready to drink. Not all bottled water is natural mineral water, so when in doubt, look for Voltic natural mineral water. Voltic, naturally.
Hello and welcome to Talk Time. And this week, we are taking a look at Parliament, all the happenings in Parliament. And we are particularly privileged to have with us a first-time member of Parliament, I suppose, the Member of Parliament for Suame, Honorable John Darko. Honorable, you're welcome.
Thank you.
This is your first time in Parliament. How is the experience?
Well, I should say it's been humbling to be trusted by your people to represent them. It's very humbling. And to enter into that house is very humbling if you look at some of us from where we've come from, to be able to enter into that house and out of the 30 million people to be a member of the 276 elected few to make laws for this country. For me, it's an experience I cherish, and I hope that anybody who wants to be there, wants to do your things right, may have the opportunity to also sit in and make laws for the country. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to be a member of Ghana's parliament. And so that's what I can say, a very humbling experience. Yeah.
Who did you replace?
I replaced the Venerable Chairman Sam Bonsu, who had served the people of Suame since January 1997. And so by the time he left, he has served the nation and our constituency for 28 years. And he's somebody I respect, and I always say that for the constituency, we thank him and appreciate his contribution to Ghana's democracy. And I believe that the nation is also grateful for his service to the country.
Am I right that your constituency has always voted the New Patriotic Party?
Yes, except 1992 election when NPP boycotted the election.
There was no contest.
Exactly, so the NDC won. But since then, it's always been a stronghold of the NPP. So it's right in the center of Kumasi, and generally, Kumasi has voted NPP except as Swansea. Yeah, so Suame has always voted NPP.
Why do you think it's so?
Well, it's a fact. It's a fact that since 96, all the 11 Kumasi constituencies have voted for NPP except Aswasi. In fact, Aswasi even came to be, I think, in 2004. It was the first time that that Aswa constituency was divided such that we had Aswasi out of it. And so, and of course, the NDC won it at the time. So it's a fact that Kumasi constituencies have always voted for NPP. And I believe the reason Kumasi and I guess Greater Ashanti have voted for NPP, I think has a bit to do with history and also the belief in the ideology of the party. And I don't think it's bad because we've seen that across the world. In America, there are red states, there are blue states, and in Ghana, I believe we can say we have blue regions and green regions. And so it has a bit to do with history, and then I believe belief in a certain ideology.
Now, what were you doing before you decided to walk into Parliament, and what were the considerations?
Well, so I finished law school in 2009, and well, before then, I used to work with Mobile Oil Ghana when Mobile was here. I was there for about 2-3 years, and I left Mobile to study law. And after law school, I went to the States to go and study my master's in energy, environment, and natural resources. When I came back, I set up my practice and then also taught at Gempa, first from the big business school and then the law faculty. So I've been a teacher of the law and a law practitioner as well. And so I was doing all of these and I decided that, look, I had an opportunity to serve my people in that capacity. Indeed, when I finished, my master's program in the US, I had a good job, but I felt that the chance to serve my nation was better for me than to stay in the United States. So I came down around 2011, and like I said, I started practicing and teaching, and then I started talking to my people. For me, the most important consideration is also to be a voice for your people. I was born and bred in Bremai, which is within the Suame constituency, and I had people who had also approached me, telling me that they believe that I can also serve my people in that capacity. So having weighed the option, I believe that, look, it would be good to do that. But it's not as if being an MP will stop me from practicing the law. That's my first love, actually, to practice law and then also raise lawyers, because we have people we train. And so that's something I'm doing. And then aside that, I'm also in this, I have taught constitutional law, environmental law, natural resources. And sometimes when we teach, you criticize. And so my students always say, sir, we know you like politics, go into it and effect the change that you always talk about in class. So I always say that my students are always looking up to me, and hopefully I'll make them proud by the time I put my quote down, if I should call it that way. Whatever years the people of Suame will give me, by the time I'm done, I want to believe that I'll make my people, my constituents, and of course my students and everybody proud. Yes.
Now, Honorable, we have entered Parliament. Have your expectations been met? Are you disappointed? Are you satisfied? You've just entered Parliament.
Well, I mean, it's just been 1 month, so I'm not sure I'm in a capacity to assess everything. But within that 1 month, I think that, yes, one of the things I know Parliament does is to hold the executive to check. And one of the ways you do that, for me, has been the advice and consent when it comes to nomination of people to serve, in the executive. And we've gone through quite some of them. I believe that the Parliament, as we see it, is doing its best to hold the government to account by the process of vetting the ministers that the president nominates. For me, that's one of the main jobs of Parliament. What I've realized is that, well, when it comes to that, we are very partisan, but it's not peculiar to Ghana, so I cannot blame the Ghanaian Parliament. I think another thing which I haven't been particularly happy, I must say, is attendance. Last night, by the time we were closing, I think last night we closed at about 7:30. I mean, the house was almost empty. And I asked myself, well, if we decide to come here to come and work, I expect that we'll be here as much as possible. What other thing have I not been excited about? I don't know how my people are going to take, but I think it's time. If we say we'll meet at 12, generally we don't sit at 12. And if I have the chance to talk to the leaders, that is something I will tell them. If we say we are sitting at 12, let's do that. And sometimes we say we sit at 12, we'll be there and practically do nothing until maybe after 2 hours. And if we are able to correct these things, I believe that it will help us. It will help our output as an institution. And I'm sure the people of Ghana will be the beneficiaries. Yeah.
You were in the chamber when the speaker was elected.
Yes.
Any comments on the process?
Well, I mean, this particular one was very smooth because there was only one person. Unlike, I guess, 2005 when the NDC proposed Peter Alajete and then NPP proposed Virginia Hughes, and then the last Parliament, the 8th Parliament, when there were two nominees, my good old professor, Michael Quay, and the current speaker, Aban Bagben. When there's an election like that, it's always difficult. But in this case, there was only one nominee, and so there was no need for us to go through election, and so it was a very smooth process, and I do not have any problem with that at all.
Are you a member of the vetting committee, the appointments committee?
Yeah. Okay, so the appointments committee is made up of 11 permanent members. I think 7 from the NDC and 4 from the NPP based on our numerical strength. But every now and then, we have subject matter committee members who have to be present when a particular sector minister is being vetted. And so I have been on the committee several times because I've represented sector committees. I represented the natural resource, no, I think it was the energy, and then the Attorney General, and then the one on environment. Now, I've been asked by my leadership to go on these committees to help with the vetting, I guess because of my peculiar background, and also because we don't have the committees that will bring its leadership to these meetings yet. And I'm sure that the explanation has been given, the reason why, even though we don't have the committees, because by our standing orders, when, let's say, the Minister for Environment is coming, we need to bring the committee leadership. But we don't have the committees yet. And we realized that the government wanted to, form, or the president wanted to form his government early, and the NPP believed that, look, we shouldn't let the delay in setting up of the committee drag the setting up of the government, because really we all want the government, we want the president to succeed. And so we did not insist on setting up of the committees. And so we agreed that, the president can bring his people at every point. The leadership of the group will select people to represent the committees to help with the vetting. So yes, I am not a permanent member, but sometimes I go there representing a committee.
We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'd like to find out whether you are satisfied with the work of the Appointments Committee so far. When we come back. Short break.
It all begins as a cloud high above Ghana, where tropical rain falls in a rainforest. The rain passes through fractures in ancient rocks and begins its journey deep beneath the earth. Interacting with these rocks, it gathers essential natural nutrients in unique proportions. The rocks produce the essential natural mineral compositions required for healthy growth. The water finally accumulates in a natural aquifer where it is protected from pollution. Retaining its original purity and natural minerals, it is then extracted by our experts, where the remaining particles are removed. The water is then sterilized to keep it fresh and safe before it is bottled and made ready to drink. Not all bottled water is natural mineral water, so when in doubt, look for Voltic natural mineral water. Voltic, naturally.
Back to Talk Time, and we are in conversation with the Honorable John Darko, Member of Parliament for Suame. Interestingly, he replaces Che Mensah Bonsu, described as one of the finest in our Parliament. That's a Herculean task, replacing Che Mensah Bonsu, isn't it?
Yes, of course, I've been told many times over. And of course, it's because of his years of experience and what he did in Parliament. Like I said, we are very grateful for his service. And I remember when I went into the House, I met a couple of people who asked me, so from which constituency? Once I mentioned, so they said, hey, they have a bigger shoe. I said, well, with the help of God, I hope I'll be able to fill it. I'm sure it will take time, so people shouldn't expect a lot.
Immediately.
Exactly. But we'll do our best. Yeah.
Now the Appointments Committee,
Yes.
is it doing its work?
Well, so the purpose of this committee, as I said, is to look at the individuals the president is presenting as his ministers. First, the most important thing is to see whether they qualify under the Constitution to become ministers. And to become a minister, you need to have qualified to become a member of Parliament. So generally, when the members of Parliament come, the assumption is that they are qualified. And so generally, they are not supposed to be quizzed too much. At least that's what I've been made to understand. But I believe one of the most important things the Parliament is supposed to do is to, apart from the fact of their constitutional qualification, we also need to know whether they understand the sector where they are being sent to. And then, of course, also look at other factors that will be at play at any point in time, because when any minister is coming, any nominee is coming, apart from the fact that the person is qualified under the Constitution, there may be other disqualifying factors that are not provided for in the Constitution. And so Parliament is supposed to look at all of that. And for me, that's why I believe the framers of the laws made it in such a way that before the person comes to Parliament, comes to an appointment committee, you have to send a memoranda and then take the views and opinions of people of Ghana. They may have questions, so you can ask them. So to the extent that we cut out that procedure to receive comments and nominations from the people of Ghana, I think that our work cannot be 100% correct, because we should have waited to get the views and the questions from the people of Ghana. But that notwithstanding, I believe that the responsibility for really needling these people to get the understanding of the area and their, like I said, other qualification has right now been laid on the minority, and has always been the case, unfortunately. When nominees come, hardly would you have, or would we see the party and government members on the committee, asking them hard questions. There's somebody on the committee who right now in Parliament, a very nice woman. She will say, "Oh, I think you qualify. Congratulations, bye-bye." And I've seen that on social media, people are questioning, is that what you do? But I believe that so far, under the circumstance, the minority leader has done his part of the job. Now, if I'm given the opportunity to make changes, I believe that the other members who are made to ask 3 questions should be changed to be given time, say 10 minutes. So if in the 10 minutes you can ask for any questions, then you're able to quiz the nominee very well. Because I've had situations where you ask a question, and if you're not careful, and maybe you ask the person, okay, how was your morning before you came here? Something which is really banal, you're just trying to size the person up. The chairman of the committee will see that as a question. And then that would mean that you have only 2 more questions. And so it becomes so mechanical. You ask a question, or is it a follow-up, or you've exhausted your questions, so go and sit down. So when we do that, we're unable to actually get the best out of the people, because I remember in one situation I asked a question and the chairman will not let the nominee answer the question. And I'm like, we cannot do that. And I told him that, Mr. Chairman, this is somebody who is well able and capable to answer the question. Why don't you let the question go? Then he will say, okay, maybe I can't answer. I can't answer, it's also an answer. But Chairman will say, well, I've overruled that question. Why? You understand? So with all of that, I feel that we haven't done the people of Ghana so well. But, they always go back to history. We should go and watch the previous vetting when NPP was in power. We are not allowed to ask questions. But I'm saying that we need to improve our system as we go along. I mean, we are building a nation. We are not trying to hype a particular political party. It's a nation we are building. So we need to change some of our ways to be able to get the best out of our people. And so for me, I would say that, maybe if because I'm a teacher, I like grading. Maybe I'll grade at 65%. It's definitely not an A. We can do better.
All the things that you've said, the standards and so on, how is that helped by asking nominees to sing their favorite high life songs?
Well, I mean, I haven't particularly liked that. I mean, if you ask me, I think that, the provision to vet these people, or the constitutional provision to vet these people, is a very serious exercise, in my view. It's a very serious exercise. Maybe if you check all my questions, you will see that I'm always taking the questions serious, and I believe that is how we should be. Well, because I've had a chance to watch a lot of nomination processes in America, and you see that it's a serious business, I think that we can do better, go straight to the point and ask your question. I mean, I don't know the motivation for people asking those kinds of questions. Maybe sometimes they want to create some light environment, but I think that there's time for everything, if you ask me.
Apart from asking people to sing their favorite high life songs, there's also a lot of praise singing. Oh, Honorable, you are very intelligent, you are smart, you you can do the job, and so on. Congratulations. So many of that. Where is that coming from? And sometimes from the minority.
That's what I was going to say. Unfortunately, it comes from the minority. And maybe I'm new today, so I can say a lot of things. I think it comes from the fact that, and what you call praise singing normally happens to be members of parliament. They become friends. And rightly so, because if you've been in the house, let's say 12 years with somebody, 16 years with somebody, they've become friends. So his very good friend is coming, he's in opposition, the person is going to be a minister. He's in opposition, but he's happy for the person, which is not wrong. But I believe, honestly speaking, I believe that for the purposes of the vetting, you could hide your friendship.
Why don't they simply just shut up and save time?
I agree, Uncle. I agree with you completely that, look, if you may know that.
If you don't have any relevant question to ask, just shut up and sit there, save time.
Yeah, and the thing is that if the person is intelligent, like you are saying, let that show through his answers to the question you ask the person. Then the people of Ghana can make that informed decision that, oh, this person is intelligent. No, you're not going to tell me this person is intelligent for me to believe. I have to see that through the answers the person will give, So I agree with you, and I'm sure that going forward, some of us will try to speak to leadership that, look, when it comes to vetting of ministers, and look, if you have somebody like a minister for energy, minister for education, attorney general, I mean, these are huge portfolios. People who are going to handle these portfolios should be asked relevant questions.
Minister for Greater Accra, she hardly was vetted.
Unfortunately, I wasn't there, and I heard that. I don't know. I was actually surprised that
She was not vetted at all. I mean, she was praised, sung. They sang her praises and said, goodbye, go and do a good job. Greater Accra, the national capital.
because I know that the Ashanti regional minister, I went to his vetting. He was really quizzed. In fact, I had about 4 questions.
And a lot about his Twitter.
Sorry?
A lot about his Twitter account.
Which really, for me, didn't make sense, if you ask me. I had some questions.
Oh, Honorable, we know that you tweet a lot. This morning when we were coming, did you tweet before coming? Yes, I tweeted. Oh, very good. And so on. Ashanti region. Wow.
I agree. And I think that I believe that all our friends should take note of that, because I think these questions you're asking is a reflection of what the people of Ghana, also thinking. That, look, you should ask, in my view, maybe quote unquote, important questions that will let us, get the heart of the people. And for me, I think one of the things we haven't done, for which reason maybe we don't take the whole vetting serious, is that we've never gone back to the vetting, year, 2 years down the line, to question the ministers. They remember at the vetting you said this, what has happened to that? Remember when you appeared before the appointment committee, you mentioned that what you are doing is contrary to that. How do you reconcile the two? We should be able to do that. And of course, that rests on members of parliament. But I think that the general public and of course the fourth estate must always look at and watch these videos a year down the line, 2 years down the line, to be able to assess people. I remember I was trying to put a question to Honorable Mutala on the. He's a minister. I think now he
energy science.
So environment.
Environment
science. And I was trying to ask for timelines. And I know why I was asking for the timeline, because in my mind I want to be able to go back to the video after 6 months or after 1 year. So you said this. What has happened to that? What explanation do you have? The chairman actually disallowed the question and said that he hasn't been to the ministry, and so he cannot answer that question. I was shocked, and in the course of the vetting, then the nominee was telling us how he's been meeting the agencies and how he's been planning. I'm like, you just said that this person hasn't been to the ministry, so he cannot answer questions. But he is here telling us that he's been meeting the agencies and having meeting with them. But for me, it tells me about how we look at the whole appointment committee. We don't go back to question ministers who appear before the appointment committee, down the line, to look at their answers vis-a-vis the action on the ground. That's the problem.
Do you think it is justified to carry on with the nomination of a minister, a nominee, for 6 hours? What can justify that?
Well, I mean, look, I believe that so long as the relevant questions are being asked. So long as the relevant questions are being asked. And again, I follow other countries, especially America. Sometimes they can do 2 days, 3 days. I think 4 years ago or so, was it Minister for Finance who appeared the second day to answer question of Rata. So for me, maybe we can decide that everybody will have 30 minutes to ask a question. If that is a policy, then that is a policy. But where you give, let's say, the ranking member limitless number of questions, then you cannot turn around to say that it is not justified that he is questioning the person for...
One is raising questions about what people said on rally platforms and trying to extract apologies from them. And that goes on for 6 hours.
Well, again, so long as, for me, the questions are relevant, because so I don't see how this particular example you made should go on for 6 hours. If you ask a question and the person gives an answer, that is it. Maybe there will be other videos that the person will show. In his opinion, these are relevant. But we also have to look at it. We can't forget the politics, because this is politics. And so if, for instance, you stood on a platform to make a certain statement, okay, which you want to walk back, you want to ask your question to determine whether you are consistent or you are firm in your belief. Somebody may double down. Again, it also shows the nature of the person. And so all of that will give the people of Ghana a view of who their minister is going to be. And that view may be, okay, this is somebody who is firm in his conviction and belief, somebody who is likely to double down on anything, or somebody who, when confronted, will walk back. It gives you a sneak peek to the minds and hearts of these people. But in terms of the time, I believe that if you're asking the relevant questions per hours, then it should be fine.
The allegation that is becoming a platform for whitewashing some political figures must be a serious allegation.
Well, it is.
Because that's not the intended purpose.
It is.
Yes.
It is. It should be used to assess the person sitting there as a nominee and not to whitewash anybody. But, Uncle, if you stood on a political platform and said that person in party A stole gold, okay, when you come there, it's something you have said. It tells about your integrity as a minister. So that when you made the point that the person has stolen gold, if you're able to back it up, it's on you. It tells on your integrity. But if you're unable to back it up, then it tells on you also as somebody who just talked loosely. Okay? So, because it's not enough you should allow people to just smear political opponents without proof. And I think if my mind serves me right, it was Fifi Kwete who also accused Kufuor of stealing bullion, gold, and all of that. I remember. And when he was nominated as a Greek minister, he came and said that, well, he didn't have the evidence. I remember this clearly. And so now the people of Ghana were clear in their mind that, okay, that was a political talk.
But is that the job of the Appointments Committee? There's a committee of privileges.
No.
The Privileges Committee is supposed to deal with these matters, not the Appointments Committee.
No. So Privileges Committee will deal with matters that are happening to Parliament and its issues. If you, let's say, if you're a political figure and you saw, let's say, a former president, that cannot go to the Privileges.
It goes to Privileges.
You are not an MP. If the person is an MP, that's a different thing.
No, it tells when an MP misconducts himself.
No, so I'm saying not an MP. If a regular person, regular individual, Uncle Kwesi, let's say, okay, I won't use you. Let's say anybody.
No, use me, no problem.
Okay, so let's say you said Nanado has stolen gold, all right? I know you've never said that nobody should misquote us. And then you were nominated as a minister, all right? And you appear before Parliament, and we ask you, that issue cannot go to privileges committee. So that's where I'm coming from.
You have a point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, because the person is a member of Parliament, so if you appear, we want to also test your credibility. You made this point against your political opponent that he has stolen gold. We want to, it is going to be your Minister of Finance, Minister of Energy, Minister of Education. You made that, and if the person says, oh, well, I said that, but at the time I was on political platform and I don't have any evidence to it. In effect, you've whitewashed this other politician, but you've also come clean as a politician.
So you've been damaged.
Well, you chose your words. You understand?
But it's happened in cases where the persons who are alleged to have made those statements are parliamentarians.
Yes.
Sam George.
Yes. Yes.
Okujatua Blakwa,
Yes.
and so on.
Yes.
So if indeed they had made statements that needed to be retracted, that's a matter for privileges committee.
Well, I mean, so that can be taken up there. But
So why take it to the appointments committee?
It also doesn't stop anybody from asking that question, because the questions to be asked by the standing orders in our constitution are not limited. Except that, like I said, I believe it should be limited to your qualifications, and your knowledge on the field, and other issues. And these ones will come in other issues. Because you also want to look at the person's credibility. Because why not? If you're going to be my minister for, let's say, foreign affairs, you're going to be a chief diplomat. Credibility is very important. So, and it also tells on you. If you're able to say that, oh, I made a mistake and I'm working back, it's gentlemanly. It is okay to say, well, I was wrong. I don't think that it would damage you. But you see, that's the point. If you think that you hold on to it because it will damage you, then you've forgotten that you've also damaged somebody without any proof. So that is the balance. And I think that I'm a young politician, I should say, because even though I've been out there a little bit going into this, you have to be careful if you want to win political power. At least tell the truth, or as close as possible to the truth, so that you can always defend yourself. But if you lie about people, if you say things that you cannot defend, then it becomes difficult, for anybody to let go.
Everyone's we're taking another short break, and when we come back, I'd like to focus a little attention on the role of the minority within a context. The context will unveil itself. So, short break.
It all begins as a cloud high above Ghana, where tropical rain falls in a rainforest. The rain passes through fractures in ancient rocks and begins its journey deep beneath the earth. Interacting with these rocks, it gathers essential natural nutrients in unique proportions. The rocks produce the essential natural mineral compositions required for healthy growth. The water finally accumulates in a natural aquifer where it is protected from pollution. Retaining its original purity and natural minerals, it is then extracted by our experts, where the remaining particles are removed. The water is then sterilized to keep it fresh and safe before it is bottled and made ready to drink. Not all bottled water is natural mineral water, so when in doubt, look for Voltic natural mineral water. Voltic, naturally.
Welcome back to Talk Time, and we are in conversation with the Honorable John Darko, Member of Parliament for Suame. Now, Honorable, some of the people on your side of the House take exception to being referred to as micro-minority. They get very, very angry. What's the problem?
Well, I mean, the only time I believe you took strong exception to it was when the Speaker of Parliament referred to us as such. And I was also angry because when the Speaker speaks, you have to use the correct terminologies. And there's no such thing in a parliamentary lexicon, okay, as described to use any adjective to describe any caucus, so that we will have we don't even have supermajority, the term people have been using. We say if you want to pass a particular provision, 2/3. So we don't have that lexicon in our parliamentary language. So how do you call somebody super majority or somebody micro minority? I think that at this point it's become a way of having fun, and it's okay. I mean, we should be able to laugh at ourselves. Our numbers were not great, and
No, they're very small.
yeah. I mean, as compared
In
to
fact, micro minority.
well, yeah, I guess you like it, so when you use it. But yeah, looking at where we started from.
There's a 376 member parliament.
Yes.
If you end up with 88,
Yes.
and you're referred to as micro minority, why get angry? Why get into fits of anger?
No, but you see, like I said, I think you understand my explanation that if we're in official business.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
official
somebody
business.
like Honorable Ano Dompré, really boiling over because his side has been referred to as micro minority.
Well, I mean,
But it is a micro minority.
no, but you see, that's what I'm saying that
I'm not a parliamentarian. I'm not supposed to use strict official parliamentary language. It's a micro minority.
Well, I guess for citizens, you can describe as whatever you want. There are people who have described us as mighty minority and have described the majority as absent majority, because we've had situations where, and so many of them, where they've had to rely on us to form a quorum to pass even the ministers that we've been approving. They've had to rely on us so many occasions. Mm-hmm. So they are also absent majority. And Afenyo had the occasion to explain that, what would it profit a majority if at the time you are needed, you are not present. So is it okay for us to also continue to refer to them as absent majority? And maybe for the fun of it, yes, but on official records, no. I mean, I don't think, for me, if anybody, and I have friends who even add minute micro minority, we all laugh about it. It's okay, it's part of the politics. For me, it's just a lesson to us, I mean, when I say us, our political party, to organize our party very well in preparation for the 2028 election. Obviously, we're going to take a lot of these seats back. There was a major problem that,
You think that the way you're going, you can take your seats back?
Well, if you're able to tell me the way we are going, it's been a month since the new president so what is the way we are going that you in your...
Turning tables, destroying microphones, being exceptionally unruly, and so on. Is that the way to increase your numbers?
Well, I mean, I think that you are looking at one incident to, as it were, describe the minority in Parliament. The minority has been very, very good, very magnanimous. From what I told you earlier on, if you remember, even the fact that we allow this whole process, that's the vetting process, to go on without going through the requirements, just so that the government or the president can form his government early, we've been very magnanimous. The fact that we support the government business, and I'm sure you are referring to the incident that happened last week. On that day, look, what was the issue? 3 people were agreed by the 2 caucuses to be vetted. Okay, we agreed to do the 3, and then one is brought in. Okay, well, it's okay. We need to form the government. Let's do it. Another is brought in. Oh, let's do this. We agreed until 10:30. When minorities say we are tired, they say, oh, in spite of the agreement, we are going to force our way and do this. I don't know why we don't want to condemn that and say that, oh, the minority has been very magnanimous. And look, the majority leader, if you listen to the majority leader on the night of the incident, he said it. then you cannot blame the minority. We agreed the whole day to do 3. We have done about 6 already.
Should that lead
No, but I'm Kwesi,
to the destruction of public property?
I'm Kwesi, but I want you to also appreciate, I don't know whether you appreciate where I'm coming from, that even the majority leader himself said, at 10:30, what is the rush? Why couldn't this wait? So why are we not talking about that? Why do we think that that is also good? Because I believe...
Well, I'm just wondering, whatever it is, whatever the infraction may be, whatever the discomfort may be, should parliamentarians be destroying tables and microphones?
No.
That's the point.
No, it shouldn't happen. But I want every Ghanaian who sees that act as wrong to also just go back a little to see what caused it. Because you see...
It wouldn't justify it.
It wouldn't. But it's important to know. Because you see, we're always looking at the results. We don't look at the process. In this country, that is where...
What's the point of looking at the process when we've come to the conclusion that the action was clearly unjustifiable and a clear affront to the dignity of Parliament?
Yes,
There's no point going back.
Yeah, no, but it is important to go back. You see, and just like history, it guides you. So that tomorrow, maybe in the next Parliament, or because we are not even done with the vetting, the next vetting, if we say we are doing 3, we should also advise the majority that, oh, you agree to do 3. So once we've done 3, if it's 5 p.m. or 4 p.m., let's close.
Couldn't that also arise from the fact that the vetting process was clearly being abused? In some instances, not in all instances.
I mean, see, so that's the thing. At one time when, let's say, you use the Greater Accra Regional Minister, who came and we didn't ask him a question, there are situations where people...
That's also an abuse.
No, but I'm saying, yes, there are clearly instances where people come and based on the ministry they are going and their personality, they stay there for 1 hour, maybe 45 minutes. And so if for a particular person, because of his ministry and the nature of the person, it goes beyond 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, I don't think there's anything wrong. And I always say this. If you look at the current U.S. Secretary for Defense, you should look at the way he was grilled. I'm sure Uncle Kwesi, you followed, with his sex life and everything on display. Because you're going to be Minister for Defense. They don't want a situation where you can be compromised by any lady to give secrets. In Ghana, we will say, oh, what is his personal life to you? So it's the standards. So if somebody is being asked relevant questions, and if you are going to use, is it Sam George and Okujeto as the standard, the only 2. Now, so imagine, we vetted over 40 ministers. Now, if only 2 have gone beyond 5 hours or 6 hours, why do you call it clear abuse of the vetting process? Unless...
in other cases, the people very quickly capitulated and apologized. And they said, okay, then we can become minister. Case of Kofi Boah.
Well, Kofi Boah...
If Kofi Boah had said that whatever he said in his response to the president's sessional address was correct, and that he stood by it, he could have made 6 hours.
Well,
I think that the only reason why he made, less than 6 hours is because he capitulated and apologized.
For me, I listened to his version. I was actually in the room. Even his response, I thought he was even doubling down because from the transcripts, he didn't look like somebody who was so remorseful. But at least he himself admitted, and nobody forced him. But what is wrong if you are being vetted for 4 hours or 5 hours? Somebody did 2 days. We all thought it was okay. We all thought that he was being asked relevant questions. So if you are being vetted based on the information we have, for me, that shouldn't be a problem at all. And if I were the one leading the vetting in Honorable Kofi Boah, maybe I would have done more because his answers, some of them were very good, but on that question, I thought that he actually doubled down. If he's a convicted person, I mean, as in he's somebody who believes in what he's doing. I'm talking about Honorable Kofi Boah. So if he says, well, if it offended him, then I'm sorry. We should take that as coming from him, not that he was forced or it was extracted. He believed in what he said.
Yeah, so he believes were important in cutting short his vetting process.
I don't think so. You see, and I agree with you, that is coming from you. I say that if he hadn't, in your way, capitulated, he would have stayed there for since. I don't know that would have happened. I don't know.
What about, the cases of destruction of property and so on? It's established. Because in the statement of the minority leader, he spoke about minor damage to state property, still damage.
Yes. And then it's regrettable. The point is that...
Who should pay for it?
The point is that the blame should be laid squarely on both parties. And for me, I was surprised actually when the speaker's suspension. We believe that in law, he couldn't do that. He didn't have the power, and he still doesn't have the power to do it. So his suspension of the 4, including one NDC, for me wasn't fair, because in the video clearly you see a lot of NDC people also engaging in the same act, But he felt the need to punish 3 NPP and 1 NDC. If he was trying to equalize, it wasn't equal enough, because there were clearly NDC people who were all engaged in it. So it's wrong.
But Master, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, we all saw this live.
Yeah, but
I didn't see any NDC member of parliament carry a table and carry a chair and put it on the table. I didn't see that.
Was that the only
I didn't
act of
see
destruction?
any.
The pulling and the pushing.
I didn't see any NDC member try to upturn a table.
Okay.
I didn't see any NDC member throw a microphone away.
Okay. Well, I think, like you said, we all watch, the jury is still out there. If you want to talk about the dignity of Parliament, it's not about the person who lifted the table, the person who pushed the other person, because all the people who are members of Parliament were people who were pushing the table.
In fact, the only NDC member who suffered suspension, if I were the speaker, I wouldn't have included him.
Interesting.
Well, I wouldn't at all. He was being attacked.
Oh.
Yes. We all saw the video.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Well, like I said, the video is out there for the people of Ghana to see.
Yes.
I disagree, because there were a lot of NDC people. One of them, some of them, I don't know their names. For Roxanne.
I actually heard Honorable Anodomple calling on his side to upturn the tables.
Yes, I'm saying
he said it.
He did that, but I'm saying that the NDC people were there. They all took part in it. They were pushing and pulling tables.
What I saw was NDC members of Parliament, or majority members of Parliament, trying to prevent your side from turning the tables.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's what I saw.
So that is right. What they did was right.
Now, if you're trying to damage state property, why should you not be stopped?
Oh, interesting. Well, I think that the viewers and out there, they will see it.
Because we all saw it.
I think that to be fair, if you are condemning it, you should condemn all. It's interesting that we think that the NDC is absorbed in this, especially when you don't even want to look at the process that led to this. You don't even want
from
to
the video that I saw.
I'm saying that, not just that, I'm saying that even from the process that led to this, we think it's okay. Yeah, they did it. Yeah, it's okay. So, yeah, but you are the one who destroyed it. You see, I'm sure you'll be the first person to say that in order to bring justice, there has to be fairness.
Oh, I agree.
Because so
those who try to destroy the tables and microphones and so on must be held accountable. That's what I'm saying.
But that's a point.
And that's very fair.
Yeah, but so then let's look at the video very well. Maybe you should go back and watch it very well, and then look at what caused it. What?
It doesn't mitigate anything.
Well, that's the point I'm saying. So you don't think that is also condemnable? Trying to sneak people in to vet them at 10:30 p.m. That is okay.
Let us assume that it made your side uncomfortable.
But is that okay?
Hold on. Let us assume that it made your side uncomfortable. Is the only means of protesting the destruction of tables and microphones?
Well, if it's not the only means, at least it's one of them.
And a very savage attack on the clerk of the committee.
Oh, I think that we are not going to go there. We are not going to go
I
there.
mean, I'm happy that the minority leader eventually has come to
We are not going to
apologize.
go there because
But it shouldn't have happened.
minority leader has apologized.
Yes.
And so we are not going to go there. I think
Okay.
that's what I can say.
But it shouldn't have happened.
Obviously, it's always very easy and okay to say back to, you shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. It's very easy. I mean, you're a human being. If you think that we can always play the righteous card, this should never have happened. It should never. At the end of the day, he's apologized. But again, you know, when the shoe is on the left foot, it feels different. When it comes to your foot, you may feel different. You know.
There are some shoes you would never want to wear. There are some shoes you would never want to wear.
You see, again, like I said, because the minority leader has, as it were, apologized, I don't want to go in there. But I'm sure if you try to also listen to him, you don't think that somebody can be justifiably angry, you know. But look, in this particular case, the apology has happened. We wish that it never happens again. And you know, we need to also, as a country, you know, try to be as far as possible, you know. If you felt maybe about 6 months ago, or even a month ago, you know, a decision or an act wasn't right, you shouldn't change your position after a month. You need to be consistent. If you believe that when it comes to committees, you need the minority present to make the work better, stick to it. Be consistent. Don't change your position because there's change of government. And that, for me, I think that's how we build a nation. And that is why you see, if you look at our laws and the precedents we have in our law books, it ensures and allows predictability. And that's very key in building democracy, predictability. They know that, if you do A, B will follow. And that if the minority is absent and they're having a caucus meeting, after that they will come. We shouldn't do this without them. I mean, and from what I'm hearing, you know, the majority leader is somebody, the majority leader is somebody who is willing to build that compromise. That look, we are building a nation. The minority, very key part of this, the enterprise of building our democracy. Let's give them their respect. Let's give them the opportunity to do their bit. At the end of the day, the minority can only have their say. And even that you don't want them to have it. You have their say. You have your way. So why is it that this little say, you don't even want them to have it? Because what was going to happen at that night, 10:30, was that, if they say they won't do it, let them go. We'll bring Okude to ask him his name, and he will mention his name and will discharge him and say that you are duly vetted. Ghanaians wouldn't know who their chief diplomat is. It's very important that we allow that to happen.
We're taking our very last break, and when we come back, I'd like to find out from the Honourable Member of Parliament something that just happened in Kumasi. Supposedly your constituency might be involved, about the future of your party. Short break.
It all begins as a cloud high above Ghana, where tropical rain falls in a rainforest. The rain passes through fractures in ancient rocks and begins its journey deep beneath the earth. Interacting with these rocks, it gathers essential natural nutrients in unique proportions. The rocks produce the essential natural mineral compositions required for healthy growth. The water finally accumulates in a natural aquifer where it is protected from pollution. Retaining its original purity and natural minerals, it is then extracted by our experts, where the remaining particles are removed. The water is then sterilized to keep it fresh and safe before it is bottled and made ready to drink. Not all bottled water is natural mineral water, so when in doubt, look for Voltic Natural Mineral Water. Voltic, naturally.
Welcome back to Talk Time, and we are in a conversation with Honorable John Darko, Member of Parliament for Suame, actually replacing the Honorable Che Mensah Bonsu, and it seems to me that he's doing a good job of it. Honorable, some people in Kumasi apparently, or claiming to be members of your party, are saying that you put up a very bad candidate for president, and that's why you lost the elections. They've actually started agitations in Kumasi for a new leadership for your party. What's your reaction?
Well, I think that people should just pipe down a little bit. It's very painful the way we lost the elections. We've set up a committee to really look into the causes of our loss. The committee has started its work, and I believe that soon some of them, if they are party members, I want to believe they are party members. I haven't seen the video, but I've heard this. If they are party members, they'll be contacted, they'll be spoken to, their views will be heard, and it will form part of the report. At the end, if the report shows that we lost the election because we put up a candidate, the report will show. If the report shows that we lost the election because of the former president, it will show. If the report comes out to show that we lost it largely because of the world economic downturn, it will show. If the report comes out and actually says that we lost because around the country our parliamentarians were not good materials and that they couldn't bring out the people, we will see. And so it is premature for anybody to blame any person for our loss. It's painful, and so people tend to do all kinds of things. I'll plead with our party members that our party is weak now. We've lost the election badly. We need to heal, and so they should take time and let's go through the process. Let's heal. Once we go through the healing process, at the end of the day, the same people, the same party people will have the opportunity to select leadership from their constituency to region to national to parliamentary candidate to presidential candidate. They are going to be the people to select. And so, because we are in a democracy, once we go through this process and somebody is selected, we all need to support him, irrespective of our negative or positive view about the person. So I understand why people do this. My plea is that they should calm down for us to finish the report. That will really tell us. It will be a document that we can all read. And then based on the recommendation, we can begin to repair the party. So that's what I'm saying.
There are some in your party who are very, very uncomfortable with Professor Mike Okoye on account of his age and also on account of the alleged role that he played in the previous administration.
Well, I mean, it's fair for people to express their disapproval. It is very okay. And that is why we are in a democracy. And in a party like NPP, where people speak their mind, is very, very good. And it's a very good thing to even challenge the status quo. What I find wrong is for us to always attack the elderly on the account of the age. People become even sharper sometimes in their old age. But in any case, the committee, he sits at the top. He's not the one. And the explanation is that there are various subgroups that are going down to, collect data and bring the information. He's not going to be the one going down to, collect the information. So on that, I think that people should take it easy. On the account of his involvement to our loss, I don't know how they came by that conclusion that he contributed to the loss. I think that if we want to be fair to ourselves, all of us, every NPP member should admit that one way or the other, he contributed to the loss. Because you know why? If we had won, all these people would have said, or right now would be saying that we contributed to their win. So if you win and you claim you are part, when there's a loss, admit that you're also part of the loss. Let's begin to heal ourselves. See, it's always easy to point your fingers at other people, forgetting that four will be showing at you. Those who are accusing them, have they checked themselves to know what they did to contribute to the loss? It's our collective defeat. We should take collective responsibility so that collectively we can push to solve the issues ahead.
Now, Honorable, some piece of news I'm sure you've heard.
Okay.
Ashanti Regional Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman Wuntubi.
Okay.
Wants to be national chairman of your party.
But I haven't heard that.
You mean you haven't heard that?
No, but I haven't heard that come from him.
But you heard it?
Yes, because as for this kind of information, we're going to have that from now till nominations are open.
Just in case he offered himself to be national chairman of your party, and
okay.
You coming from Suame,
yes,
and you're not just coming from Suame, you're a replacement for Che Mensa Bonsu. Win to me for chairman of NPP. Your reaction?
Well, I mean, I think it would be very unfair to the Wuntumi as a person and the other members who put themselves up. It would be unfair to them for me to sit here right now to begin to analyze the potential positives or negatives of any person. And especially as a member of parliament, I have a very diverse constituency with people who support different candidates. And at this point, the party rests on the shoulders of 88 people. We should be very careful the way we launch ourselves into this kind of conversation so as not to create disunity. For me, every member of a party who wants to put himself up should do so and justify his decision to the voters or the delegates. If the person is able to do that and wins the support of our delegates, we will support the person. It will not be right for me as a member of parliament. I think that all my other colleagues, especially those of us in parliament, not to start engaging in this kind of internal politics, who will be good, who will not be good, because in the end, they are party members.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
I appreciate this.
Yes. Well, we've been talking to Honorable John Darko, Member of Parliament for Suame, about the happenings in Parliament and to some extent the New Patriotic Party. Please keep your dial on Pan-African television until we meet again, because as I always say, the best is on our screens. It's goodbye from all of us, producer of the show, George Binair, and director of today's show, Akako. We'll see you again pretty soon. Bye-bye.